Ali Joy. I'm the founder and executive director of Daddies in Tech. And I'm here to curate the vibes for this evening. And so we have a powerful, beautiful panel here with us today, and it's my pleasure to be able to introduce them. So I'm going to start with the gorgeous Keenyah Hill right here, close to me. So Keenyah she started her modeling career on America's Next Top Model. How many of y'all have watched America's Next Top Model? America's Next Top Model. So we had Keenyah. What season were you on, Keenyah?
Cycle 4.
Cycle 4. So she's OG, right? So Keenyah, and she's now a pose coach and model mentor. So Keenyah has graced the runways of Paris, Milan, London, New York, Miami, and Los Angeles Fashion Week. Keenyah has also been featured in Vogue, Cosmopolitan, W, Marie Claire, and Rolling Stone. And she's done, give it up. She's done campaigns for CoverGirl, Samsung, Heineken, and Budweiser, so Keenyah's been all over. She's been modeling for the last 18 years and is now teaching aspiring models and celebrities how to pose, build confidence, and get signed up by modeling agencies. I love the impact. Moving on, we have to our middle, Gabriella Lascano. So Gabrielle is a Latina singer, model, and overall lifestyle content creator and internet personality from the Bronx, New York. Recognized by Google, she has amassed over 1 million followers over her platforms and inspires women with her fashion sense, creativity, and passion for self-love and confidence. And that radiates off of this woman. So give it up for Gabrielle. And last but certainly not least, we have Tiger Lapis. So Tiger is a film director, series creator, producer, writer, and lead actress of the new gothic steampunk live-action anime thriller TV series called Deadly Chess Royale. And I just watched the trailer and it's so sick. And it's gone viral on TikTok, and you can follow that at Deadly Chess Royale. With over 1.5 million likes and over 126,000 followers who want her series to be made. And she's also been able to get that a major Hollywood studio has found interest in this series, and so there's some stuff in the works there. Expect greatness. She's a pioneer and game changer, paving her own path to shake up the industry and give power back to creatives. Tiger is also the founder of Independent Studio, which produces inspiring entertainment content, and a cosplayer and gamer who inspires her audience to follow their dreams by telling her story and how she's overcome homelessness and emotional abuse. Her signature advice for her audience is follow your heart, follow your dreams, and never give up. And I love that, and I think that we're going to get a lot of that story and the resilience and the overcoming tonight, and so I'm very excited for this panel. So let's just jump right into it. So you all are all amazing creators, influencers, and creators in your own right in this industry. And so I in the audience would love to know, how you got to where you are today. What was your journey that led you here? What initially ignited your passion for content creation and influencing? So I'll start with Keenyah.
Oh my gosh, such a lovely question. I feel like I'm hiding behind these. Don't take these off.
We want to connect. We want to see those beautiful eyes,
honey. Can you smile? How are your facial expressions? I can show you.
Okay.
I can show you. Later. So what inspires me, or what inspired?
Tell us about the journey to getting to where you are now. Like, what were the important points that we should know? And what ignited your passion for what you do now?
Ooh, okay. So pretty much, I started on America's Next Top Model, but before I even got to America's Next Top Model, I was obsessed with women on the runway. Not even really the fashion, but I was made fun of, as a late bloomer. I was made fun of in school, and I really adored women who had a lot of confidence, and women on the runway just, had that. So it took passion first Like, we have to understand, am I putting energy into a passion or just something that's gonna make money, right? And so that passion got me to try out for Top Model. And then I moved here to New York and lived here for my entire 20s modeling, went to Paris and kind of traveled, but the main thing that got me even to where I am now with coaching is consistency. And then also in hindsight, I'm learning that, or I've been able to make something out of all the knowledge I've gained from not giving up. If I would have stopped when my modeling job slowed down, then my growth and knowledge of that industry would have stopped, you know? Totally. And so I looked up and it's like, wow, I have all this experience. I know the modeling industry inside and out. So now I can do something with this. Right. So that's just a really important point for people to understand, is that when you're doing something and trying it and getting better and just consistency of doing that, it can really benefit you with your just knowledge of anything, really having great knowledge of it. And so that's what got me to the coaching now. And I feel good to share the secrets of the industry with aspiring models. Passing it along, you know?
I love that.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that story because, to Tiger's motto, right? Like, never give up. And it's so important to keep going, even when other people don't believe in you. You have to have that belief in yourself, and you have to, you have to see the vision. Like, even when everything around you is telling you no, you have to see that vision. Yes. And it might not be easy, but there will be a reason for it in the future. Maybe, and it's hindsight, right? Like, hindsight is 20/20. And I think, like, even with me, like, I've been doing Baddies in Tech for 4-ish years. Seriously, like 2 years, but like just this past week we got like a $50K grant from Google, right? To keep doing the work that we're doing. So it's like, and it starts to get recognized. Like, we were just nominated for an award, and that was the last time I saw Jade before today, right? So it's like, the work will eventually get recognized, and you'll eventually get to a point where people are looking up to you, but you have to never give up to get there, right? So yeah, I love that. So Gabriella, tell us about your journey.
So, as a Latina, I'm Puerto Rican and Dominican. I got them stopped. I grew up watching, Selena and Thalia and telenovela stars, and that was like my inspiration. But being the big girl, I've always been big, I was in plus size. I felt like, well, I can't do that, right? Like, no one wants to see that. No one wants to see me be modeling or whatever. And that was back in the day. I'm a 90s kid. So when I grew up in the 2000s, that was not an option for me. And so I put my passion into my outlet for passion into other things like makeup and fashion and other stuff. And I'm a singer, so I did drama club when I was in high school, and I was like, oh, it's just like fun stuff, right? Like, nobody really told me like, you could do this for real, you're good enough, because I was the fat one. And so when social media became a thing, and it was like body positivity became a thing, that became my outlet, and my recognition started there. And now the tide is changing. And now it's like, wait, we can be models, we can be singers, we can be out there. And so, I was doing makeup for other people and doing makeup for Dasha Polanco, an actress, she's a Dominican actress. And I realized that I wasn't happy being in the background. Like, I realized God gave me a passion for something. It's on my heart to be a singer, to be a performer. I have a message, I have something to say. And so through my content creation, I'm spreading that message, and I want to take it even further, So that's where I'm at now, and I hope to keep sharing that. That's my journey now.
I love that you followed your heart, and the tables have turned. Maybe it's your time. I love that.
It's definitely her time.
Yeah,
Come on now.
absolutely.
She's an
I
amazing
love
woman.
you. She is. Thank you. Tiger, tell us about your story.
So I had a very unusual and interesting journey. So first of all, I just want to explain what my show is about, because that does tie into my journey and why I wrote the series. So it is about two women geniuses battling in chess to choose who dies, as one seeks revenge and the other fights to follow her heart in a world where criminals help the police fight crime in exchange for freedom. And this takes place in a Gothic theme of New York City in the year 2030. it is a show that's meant to inspire the world about following your heart and how nothing's impossible. And it's like Death Note meets Queen's Gambit and Alice in Borderland.
Yes.
So that's like the best description of my series. Now, this is, I'm now getting to why I wrote this show, because it's very much tied into my life. So I've always known I wanted to be a film director when I was 6 or so. It just came to me one day because I wanted to be all these things, and then I thought, wait a minute, if I could just direct my own films, I could be anything I want. So I don't have to pick one occupation, I could just direct all these stories. But I never really had the confidence to pursue that dream. One is like, obviously, it's not really supported in the Asian community to go into film. And another thing was also I just didn't have enough confidence. But I was always a child and wrote a lot of stories that really got attention from my teachers. That I once was performing plays at like 2nd grade, and to the point I was popular that teachers were actually asking me to perform in other classes. But when I was 16 years old, I then came up with this concept where I saw 2 women standing on top of a building who were rivals. And I didn't understand what they were doing, but that was actually the first image of Deadly Test Royale. And slowly it just began to develop. And one of the reasons why I wrote that story was because I was going through a lot of emotional trauma in my life. And so I was heavily emotionally abused as a child. And there was a lot of things I was going through. My family was falling apart, my father walked out. And I wrote this story to really, I needed an outlet, because it was, basically this story was my only way of getting out of where I was. So you know how they say write your destiny? That was me writing the destiny to get out of that life, because it was the only light at the end of the tunnel. There was really nothing else holding me there. So a lot of the story was inspired by what I went through. I just had terrible parents and had a terrible family, and I didn't even realize I was being emotionally abused for so long. So that was why I wrote Deadly Test Royale, originally to save myself, but now I realize the story is meant to help inspire other people who went through that, to give them the hope to really follow their heart. It doesn't matter what people have done to hurt you, what people have done what people have said to you, what your parents did to you. You still have a choice to follow your heart no matter what. No one can take that choice away from you. And that's the message I really wanted to send out about Deadly Test Royale.
That's such a powerful and moving story of survival and taking hurt and turning it into something beautiful. So I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad that you're able to share that with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's talk about content creation and a day in the life, because everyone loves a good TikTok day in the life. So I want to take us through it, right? So walk us through a day in the life of you as a content creator. What have been your biggest joys and challenges of navigating this process and following your dreams, right? Of the things that you do, like what are the challenges? What are the ups and the downs, and how do you overcome them? And anyone can go first.
I definitely know my challenges. You guys know your challenges? Oh my goodness. So mine might be specific to just the kind of personality that I have as a Virgo, if anyone's into astrology. Virgos, we tend to be perfectionists, right? To say the least. And we analyze things, and we like to have a lot of control in these situations. Especially if they're entrepreneurial, kind of, if you're running our own show, we like to have control. And as my business expands, I cannot wear every single hat. And I now need to start delegating tasks to other people that I trust, whether I have to train them or whatever it is, so that I can continue being creative, because I need to be an open vessel and positive vibration, high vibration, to receive ideas about my craft that I know so well. It's like, because we got to keep up with the algorithm, we got to do all kinds of stuff. And you probably deal with this as well, but I don't know, you're killing it on Instagram, so maybe, but as a model with print, and I'm sure you've done photo shoots, we have to now, we're not just models, with the Instagram, we have to be videographers, editors, we gotta know about music and hitting the beats, and we're editors, all of that for your reels. I don't know if you have someone else creating your reels. Do you ever make your own?
I do everything myself.
Same. It's you pour love into it and all that energy. And so, yeah, definitely one of my biggest challenges is my home is too close.
No.
Is to really make sure that I am opening my creative space by delegating tasks and really developing a team so that I can stay the creator.
Yeah, I relate to that, like, heavy. As a founder.
What sign are you though? Are you also?
So I'm not a Virgo, right? I'm a Sag, so I don't even think it's, I don't even think it's
That is so sad.
We love it, the center of attention. But yeah, no, I don't even think it's, I think it's a Black woman thing.
Oh.
You know, I think we are perfectionists in general, and I think that
right.
we're like, if it's gonna get done, it's gonna get done the best by me, and I think that like there's a lot of hyper independence, like, and that comes from trauma as a Black woman as well, you know. And so yeah, for me, I really had to unlearn that to grow my business, and to bring other people on, because it's been hard to like delegate and ask for help. Like it's like, it almost feels like a sign of weakness, right? So no, I relate.
Thank you.
I relate.
Help me. Help.
We'll talk. We'll wrap after this. But yeah, so what about Tiger and Gabriella? What are your challenges?
I heavily relate to that as a Latina. I feel like we have a similar situation in our community. I really struggle with even having community because I struggle with trust. You know, I also was abused growing up and I have a lot of trauma. And I just feel like a burden to most people. So, and sometimes that can come off kind of like, you know, like you are being stuck up because you're like, I'll just take care of myself. I'll just mind my business. And then people are like, oh, okay. And they don't realize that it's really coming from a place of being like, oh, I'm bothering. Like, let me stay humble. Let me not bother anybody. Like, I feel like as Caribbean people or sometimes Latinos in general, we have this like immigrant mindset of like, keep your head down, mind your business, work hard. If you're good enough, the boss will notice you. Don't ask for nothing. And I've had to learn that you can't be like that. You do have to speak up sometimes, ask for help, delegate, build community, because being true to yourself just puts out the wrong message sometimes, and that's my biggest struggle. So I'm learning how to delegate and build community and be open to people and be trusting. And that's more of an internal, you know, psychological kind of emotional growth, but it plays into being an entrepreneur. All those things kind of come out as you're working towards your goals. You're like, oh, I have some internal work, and that's part of it, is learning to trust people and making a community around you.
100%.
Can I just add something just in case, because people who are watching stuff, right? Like, so I'm 38 years old, and if I could have started my business with the knowledge that I already currently have, I would be a gajillionaire, right? But I always want to tell like younger people, we're in a new time right now. I experienced internet for the first time. There's lots of firsts. There's so many lanes and opportunities for growth. And I guess something that others can learn from our mistake is to understand that there are growing pains with everything. There's growing, and I'm always kind of going through that. If you're evolving and growing, then there's growing pains.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's normal and to expect it, and it's only if you are aware of it and you do something about it, it's only going to lead to growth.
Yeah.
Then you're coasted. That will never be a problem ever again. So I just want to let people know that's normal.
Yeah.
So
it's part of the journey and staying open. And I always say the dumbest people are the people who think they know everything. The smartest people are the ones who are like, teach me. I don't know shit. Teach me. What do you need to, you know what I'm saying? Like, not that you don't know anything, but that you're willing to learn from people, right? Like, anyone who thinks they know it all is doomed, in my opinion. Be open, be willing to grow. Doomed, honey, doomed.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Tiger?
So I would say my biggest issue, other than that, we all seem to have a commonality of being a perfectionism and doing everything by ourselves. Not getting in my own way. This is one of the toughest lessons I have to learn. And I sometimes question myself, why do I get so high strung? And obviously this was before I knew I was being emotionally abused. And then abuse unfortunately did have a major impact on my work ethic. where nothing you do is ever good enough. And you get called so many things that you're treated less than. Someone once said they overheard what was said to me and said you were treated less than a dog. And that's when I knew how bad it was. To the point I don't even remember what was said to me. I have good memory. I remember everything. And the fact I couldn't remember what was said to me tells me how bad it was. So that does inform your work ethic, because when you do a lot of content creation, you think it's not good enough. So you keep redoing until it's perfect. But the problem is perfectionism gets in the way. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be genuine and true to what is the message you're trying to send out to your audience. And a lot of times what I've learned is that the videos where I didn't think about being perfect, I was just honest, sincere, and actually one of my first viral videos, which is what really got me to over 100,000 followers, because I felt like shit that day. I didn't know what was happening. I couldn't understand why these were moving forward, and I said to the audience, I don't regret anything. And the minute I said that, next morning it went up to so 100,000 views, and I couldn't believe it. I thought I was sleeping, I was dreaming, because I almost got off my bed. I'm like, wait, what's going on? Like the notifications kind of just blew up.
Yeah.
But it's like you have to realize there's a point when you create content, you do it all on your own. No trust issues, a lot of it, be perfectionism, but in a sense of the word, you really need to grant yourself grace. You have to grant yourself grace and love yourself and be proud of yourself. Because if you can't do that by yourself, it's hard to receive that from others as well. So remember to always grant yourself grace, love yourself, be proud of what you created, even if it's not perfect. It doesn't matter. It's the fact that you had the courage to do it. That is what really matters sometimes at the end. And just be proud of what you created. And by doing that, you realize you're no longer the one getting in your way. You're actually one of your biggest allies and supporters now.
Damn.
Amazing.
I'm touched, girl.
I'm about to cry.
Beautifully said. Very true.
Truthfully, yeah. And actually that leads me to my next question really beautifully. So when it comes to social media posting and sharing yourself on social media, it's easy to get caught up in popularity and views and what the comments are saying, that you get sidetracked from your main goal and purpose of posting the content in the first place. So what's your advice, and how do you deal with that situation? And what's your advice for people who are starting and trying to build an audience on social media to kind of stay grounded within themselves and to their original purpose? And not overly judge yourself, you know? Because it's hard. It's really hard. And I think also, like, when you're, like you all were saying, like, you're spending so much time, like, creating this reel and putting so much into it, and you're like, okay, like, are people gonna like it? And then, like, nobody likes it. Like, you know?
I think you have to love what you're doing and remember why you're doing it and be truly passionate about it. You know, you have to feel like it's worth something, and if you reach someone, that's good enough for you. Because if you don't really feel like that, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. I know it sounds corny and cliche, but it's true, because if you're just making something for popularity, you can have the popularity, but you might not feel good about yourself after, or it might not be as fulfilling as you think it will be. And maybe for some people, that's all they want. For me, that's not enough. I need to personally feel fulfilled. So for me, it's I have to remember why I'm doing it and feel passionate about it and be excited about it myself. And then sometimes you just have to be honest about algorithms are not perfect. Sometimes things just don't get seen, and it's not an attack on you personally. You just, you know what I'm saying?
It feels personal though.
It feels personal. You'd be like, oh, TikTok just ate me today. Okay, I see you. But it's really not. Like, they don't care about you, girl. Keep posting, the next video might get seen.
Right.
You can have 1 million views and then the next day 10 views.
Right.
That, it doesn't mean it's you. Sometimes, and you have to cross post, right? Like sometimes you post something on TikTok and it'll get no views. And you post it on YouTube Shorts and it'll be 200,000 views. So it's not that the content isn't good enough, it's just the algorithm. Sometimes you have to stay focused and be passionate about what you're doing. That's really the only answer in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a good answer, thank you.
I think for sure. For sure.
Because if you're living off of likes, you're gonna be depressed.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
Please.
I also think something that is important is for us to understand that we've been given a set of emotions, and our brain and our bodies are like amazing. And we have to learn how to pay attention to when something really lights you up. When you get an idea or something, you gotta pay attention to the feeling, you know, because if we're in a negative, I'm not even using the mic, I'm just talking about people right here. But if you are, you know, in a negative or low vibration, you might not be open to even feeling that, you know, I'm not sure if people here, you know, what your religious beliefs or spiritual beliefs are, but God definitely gives us insights to really, really good stuff. Those ideas are trying to manifest somewhere. And if we can just, if you're doing something that you like, you'll just naturally tap in with the universe and it will give you these ideas. So as long as you have that passion and inspiration, and then you're offering value on the platform, then you're doing just fine. And make sure you're adding value. Is this entertaining to people? Is this educating people on something? Is this bringing insight or awareness to something? Is this making people laugh? That's a value. You know, we can't just be posting selfies and food anymore. It used to be a time where that was like enough, but now everybody's doing their best almost. You know.
Because it's a lot more accessible to make great content. Right?
Yeah, now
you don't need the
everybody's
crazy cameras. You just use your phone and you're good. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So just make sure you're offering value and that it's real to you. You want to do it.
I think being emotionally available to your audience too, which is hard. There's a vulnerability, I feel like, with sharing your life online.
Yeah.
And if it's too curated, they're just
too
not feeling
perfect.
it.
Yeah.
And do you know that will translate in your comments? I follow a woman who, she is incredibly aesthetic, okay? She's a Russian woman, dark hair, she's beautiful. Her apartment looks perfect. She wants perfection. Her dog, the way that she feeds everything. I don't know how she sets up all these camera angles, but it's just a 30-second
She got a big brother house.
Yeah, and it's just like a condo somewhere. Wow. Angles of her pulling out in her car, but the edits are so phenomenal. But in her comments, people are boldly hating, like, this is too perfect, and how is she doing this, and how is she doing that? I hope I never get to the place where people are that bold in the comments. So you do have to show some side of vulnerability, being real, like, hey, I struggle with this. Why do you think fitness trainers, almost all of them on Instagram, do well? They got to show before and afters. Yeah. Like, this is how I used to look, but look at me now. But you have to be vulnerable enough to say, yeah, that's what makes us human. That's what people relate to.
Yeah.
So
I think like it has to be aspirational enough, but attainable enough for people, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay to be aspirational and show the vacation, but then show the hard work.
Yeah.
Show the times that you're upset because something didn't work out. Talk about, you don't have to be like, I'm broke, I ain't got nothing. Because people don't want to see that either. They'd be like, bitch, you got followers, you can here and there. But, because, you don't want to be complaining too much. But the vulnerability of it and being like, listen, I'm struggling with this or imposter syndrome or whatever it is, because that's what makes us human. That's what makes us connect, and that's what people want to see.
So one of the greatest advice I received from a content creator, he said the reason because this is when I was struggling with views, and he said to me, his father gave him the greatest advice. And he said, stop caring about what people think of you. Stop caring about what they want you to post. Just post whatever the hell you want. And that was the moment he went viral. Because he chose to be himself. Like, don't care about what your audience thinks, but also don't underestimate your audience. The right people will see who you really are. It is very challenging because even when I say this, I have to constantly remind myself. There were times I started to forget, and I'm like, why did everything just stall? And like I said, nobody knows the freaking algorithm. Nobody knows what the algorithm is. There's no such thing. I can tell you there is no such thing. I had a video, I posted, it had 72 views. I'm like, really, 72 views? And I have over 100,000 followers. I reposted that video, it went up to 20,000. That's how insane the so-called algorithm is. It just makes no sense. But what I do know is that if you post in the moment, tune into the universe, and I agree with, like, I'm deeply spiritual. I'm not religious, but I'm very spiritual. You have to tune into the moment. There's a reason why the universe is sending you something.
Yes.
If it feels right, post it, even if you don't look your best. I can tell you, most of the people who talk to me about when their videos go viral is when they did that. I posted pretty much 99% of my videos that went viral, and I mean like 4.8 million views, like that type of virality were the ones where I just didn't care. I posted, I was happy with it. Next day I'm like, what the hell? This was an 8-second reaction. I got 4.8 million views because I reacted to Joyride. It became like the top video, and Lionsgate contacted me. That's how crazy it was, because I thought it was funny, and it spoke something about standing up against racism at the same time. In an 8-second reaction shot that I shot at a hotel in New York City. But it just tells you, because it was in the moment, and it was honest, and it was genuine, and said so much in 8 seconds, it just blew up. So it's like, and when I forget again, one of the things I've learned is like, every time I start looking at the views, the universe is like, it's not a popularity contest. You're an innovator. You're a game changer. I put you here to do something for this
There's
world.
no awards. You're not gonna get an award for going viral.
Exactly.
Nothing happens.
Yeah. Honestly, nobody cares about, like, you know,
There's no prize.
Yeah. It's, the reality, honestly, it doesn't, in the long run, it doesn't really matter. What matters is what impact did you make in this world? So when you stop caring, ironically, that is when you do go viral, because you're finding yourself. And the amount of times I finally went, all right, universe, I'm gonna post, like, I'm a gamer, I'm an anime fan, and I love Ninja Turtles. I posted this one thing with the Ninja Turtles tour when they had it here. I love Donatello, it's my favorite. I did a whole room tours and posted that video going, you know what, I'm happy with it. Next day, that's the one that goes viral. I'm like, of course, 220,000 views. You know, like, and then suddenly everyone was like, now do Michelangelo, now do Raphael. But again, post something you truly love. Don't underestimate your audience, because the right ones will come to you.
Yeah.
You're
Amen.
wise. You're super wise, Tiger.
Oh, she's like connected to the universe. It's scary. She will read you. And you'll be like, girl, are you watching?
I'm gonna come to you for advice.
I have a sixth sense. I actually do. I've seen things. That's why. I was wrong with sixth sense, but I've also went through a lot of lifetimes. Like, it was like, it's a lot. It's okay. Life is good. God is good. Universe is great.
Absolutely. Amen to that. So Gabriella talked a little bit about community building and the importance of it. So what are some actionable steps women of color or content creators in general can take to actively help build up their communities? And anyone can start. Take that on. We have an order. You're actually not saying anyone can start. Keenyah goes first.
Well, that's what you're doing. Essentially, that's your brand.
Ah, it is.
Yeah, so I feel like you're
Oh, well,
the
no,
best.
it is. Oh, no, we both are. That's yours too. You inspire so much. Yeah. I think, especially for us women of color, but just to women as in general, right? Because we're not each other's competition.
Right.
We're so not each other's competition, and we're so strong when we're together. But it's really important for regardless of the community, when you get an opportunity to meet somebody younger than you, who's in the same lane or anything, share something with them that took you a long time to learn, or that you think has made you who you are today, something that you're so grateful to have learned. Share that. That takes nothing but a 5-minute conversation. Just be welcoming and open enough for that conversation to happen, because that can affect somebody's whole life. You could share something with somebody and it just activate their whole thing. You know, so and then that spreads, you know, that's the real butterfly effect. So say stuff, have conversations, it don't cost nothing.
It doesn't cost a thing, and you don't get prizes for being a mean girl.
Yeah, mean girls suck. Oh.
Y'all, they suck!
Oh,
They
come
suck!
on. You know what's funny too about, or mean girls, mean
You know
guys,
about
mean
that being on
people.
that show.
Yeah, they, you know, as I'm older, like because I'm, again, Virgo, we're very hard on ourselves and we're sensitive. And I used to really internalize when people weren't nice to me, because I'm trying to be nice. I'm just trying to be a good human being, and you're not reciprocating that. And that used to tear me up, and I used to nibble on memories of conversations and how it should have gone. And now that I'm older, it's like, I know that I'm of light, so why am I going to be concerned
About
with another person's lack of the light? Like, what? That's a waste of my time. I could be thinking of ideas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's so true.
It's
funny you said about just like those nuggets that people give you, because I had a friend my friend, he's an actor, and we've been friends since before either of us were in any lane of fame or whatever, the industry, right? And he told me, because I'm some person, again, being Latina, I'm very like, keep my head down, mind my business. If I'm good enough, they'll come to me. It's like, girl, no, you have to put yourself out there. And I'm always, when people say, oh my God, I love your content, oh my God, I follow you, I'm like, girl, I'm a nobody, stop. Like, I don't make a big deal, I ain't no. And he was like, you keep telling people you're a nobody, you're gonna get treated like a nobody. And I was like, oh my God, let me, I'm dumb. I was like, you right, okay. And that like little thing really did change my mindset. And I was like, you have a point. That's very obvious, but not all the time. When you struggle with trauma, when you struggle with not feeling good enough, when you didn't have that help growing up, like when you're a weed, when you were meant to be a rose because nobody around you was giving you the right fertilizer to help you grow into who you were meant to be. And that's how I see myself, like a rose in concrete, like trying to blossom on my own. And having somebody say that to me was so encouraging and just like a light bulb moment. So I really agree that little, and now I tell people that when they come to me, it's that butterfly of really just sharing that little bit of knowledge that can change somebody's life completely.
I love that so much. You all are just dropping so many like powerful, I don't even want to say
t-shirts
gems. I don't even want to say gems. It's just like things that you have gone through, and like you're really pulling and like sharing yourself with us, and it's like it's emotional for me. And yeah, like words are powerful, right? And words matter, and what you speak over yourself. Like I'm Christian, and like in the Bible, it's like the power of life and death is on your tongue. Like it's very important what you say about yourself. And I also want to like emphasize on like the point of speaking things out. Like nobody's gonna know what you do unless you say it. Like the people who work the hardest are not the people who get the reward. It's the people who are the loudest, the people who know how to articulate what it is that they do, and it's the people who know who to say the right things to, and so I really learned recently, like I always thought like like if I keep my head down and I do the work, like someone will recognize. Like no, nobody's gonna recognize it. You have to go out there and tell people.
J-Lo always says, I'm not successful because I'm the most talented, it's because I'm the one who won't quit. I work and I keep going no matter what anybody says. Mm-hmm. And I know people have their feelings about her, but that's one of the reasons I admire her, right? Because you can't hate on somebody who's like, I don't care what you think. I'm gonna keep getting this money and I'm gonna keep living my life because I believe in my artistry. That's the goal, to be that obsessed with your passion and to be that in love with what you do and believing that somebody is appreciating it and doing it for the love of doing it too. Yes. That's so admirable, to just be like, I know that someone likes it, and that someone might be me, but it's good enough. I love that. You gotta keep going.
I love that. What do you have to say?
A lot of times, the thing about just entertainment industry, modeling, acting, jealousy is a major problem. Mm-hmm. And this doesn't have to be a dog eat dog world. We don't need to do that. And we're supposed to be supporting each other as creatives and uplifting each other. Unfortunately, each of us, for sure, 100% have all encountered people who are very jealous, and we have no idea why. And then we start to lower our light, we start to pull back, and we're like, wait, what the hell, what am I doing? Just to make them feel better. And then they still don't like you. And then they just have it out for you. And you'll know when people are jealous of you. You'll know when there's something. And it's even worse when you realize it's your own community. And it confused me because I was always about supporting each other, and I didn't understand this mentality until I understood what someone said to me. It's just your own insecurities. Because they couldn't love themselves. And they couldn't accept themselves. So that's why they act they do. And then that helped me frame how to handle energies like this, especially since I'm an empath and I will feel people's energies. So it's we have to remind ourselves that we are here to help each other out. Each of us are born with a special gift. We all each have something to offer, and you should never hold yourself back just to make someone else feel better. If it's preventing your own light from shining, there's something wrong with our relationship. That is not someone you should be around. Just quietly walk away, forgive them for it, and go to those who will support you because you have to shine your light. You were made to do that. If you don't do that, you fail that life. You fail at living your life. Because your life's purpose is to fulfill what your heart set out to do, what the universe gave you. Do just that. Who cares what other people think? If you're jealous, that's on them. But your light already is going to create a special impact. It's going to affect many people. Like, we don't always understand the impact we have on other people. I didn't until like I started getting DM messages from my followers who said, no, thanks to you, I'm now pursuing writing. Thanks to you, I now believe I can be a film director. And she was Latino, and she was a Latino woman. And she said she didn't think she could pursue, but she saw, like, wait, she got a major studio on her own. And by the way, I've got a studio on my own with no agent or manager. Even though everyone in Hollywood told me it was impossible, I went straight to the vice president. So if I can do it, you all can do it. It's like, never let anybody hold you back from being true to who you are. And I didn't even know if I was making a difference until people sent me DMs and told me how much it inspired them. And one girl, she actually sent me a DM and said she had quit film school and she asked God, should I go back? Give me a sign. My video came up on her TikTok about how to go back to film. And something told me to post it the night before. It didn't get a lot of views. And I went, why did I post this video?
Wow.
Then she sent me that the next day and she told me that's what happened. So now she said, that's my final thing. I'm going back to film. And I went, you know what? Even if it helped one person, that was good enough. I really don't give F's about the film. I mean, I'm trying not to cuss. I cuss a lot. I'm trying to really hold back right now.
You're in New York, girl.
Yeah. So it's, and I'm a gamer. So anyways, any last fact? Smash Brothers. So, but it was like, when she wrote to me, it really moved my heart, and I found that she was in an abusive situation. That's why actually she quit film to save herself. She had to survive. So when she read my story, she said it was a bit of a bittersweet feeling, but it gave her the courage to go back to film, and now she's doing film again. So just know, like, even if you don't see it, as long as you stay true to your light and let yourself shine, you will have an impact on this world no matter what. Because that's ordained by the universe. You've done your job, and you should be proud to be who you really are. It will always come back.
I'm really getting chills up here, y'all. And it's just there, like you said earlier before we started, there's a lot of alignment here on this stage. And one thing that you said about the women who reached out to you, God actually uses content, y'all. Like,
Yes.
oh yeah,
Oh yeah, 100%.
How about that?
Isn't that crazy?
How about God's on the gram?
Like, that's how I always say. God's favorite app is Instagram. He be scrolling, he be scrolling.
Oh my God.
Because honestly, I had a very similar experience not long ago, maybe like 2-3 weeks. I prayed, I was like, God, I want to do it fast. I don't want to like choose how long I want you to tell me how long you want me to do this fast, and like how many days, until what time. And that same night I got on Instagram, and it was this girl that I've been following for some time, and she was talking about a fast, and then like and this was in her stories, and then it was like, we're gonna do a fast for 7 days till 3 p.m. It was like very specific. Oh, wow. And then at the end of it, it was like, like she started talking about like a raw vegan fast that she did. And I was like, I'm not doing that. That's crazy. Why would I do that? I was like, I asked God for the date and the time. That's it. I got my answer. That's it. Long story short, I got a few more signs like the following day. Started my fast, did it till the time, but I got a few more signs that really was like, no, like I want you to do a raw vegan fast. And like maybe 4 days into it, I finally got the revelation of like why exactly, like God was like, no, I want you to do a raw vegan fast. And it's just like crazy how it just all started from Instagram. Like you ask God something, like you might think like I'll find it like in the Bible or something like that, but like it was on somebody's Instagram story, you know? So yeah, like there's just so much alignment in like showing up and putting yourself out there. You don't know who you're affecting and how you're changing their lives with your content.
Can I just say this? Because I don't know, can we ask the people in the crowd, have you guys ever had a moment where you, and I'm not talking about when your phone listens to you and it advertises the thing you spoke about yesterday. I'm saying something that you know personally you were trying to find an answer for or something like that, and it directly came up on somebody's page, the answer you were looking for. Then it came up on someone's page, and then it was more than a coincidence. A handful of people, like, show us, has that happened, right? It's so important for us to realize that energy, I mean, you've comforted me by telling me you're an empath and also in tune with, just who we all are. Because that's something that we should all be experiencing. The phone, technology, all that, it's all man-made, but it's all under what God's created, and God can communicate via many different forms. It's not outside of God, right? So it's important for creators and whatever, when you are lacking inspiration, when you feel like you're having a downtime, you're getting stuck, it's, for one, isolation sometimes is really, really good. Because like when you're around other people and other people's energies and you're always on Instagram as well, sometimes it's good to pay attention to what you're digesting.
Yes.
I was in Miami for a year. I've lived here, so after Top Model I moved here and lived here for almost 20 years. And then during the pandemic I moved to Miami. And I started to feel, my friend Cloud here knows, I was complaining so much, and I just felt like, oh, this city is just not for me. It doesn't have the culture and the fashion that New York has, and all of this stuff. And I didn't even realize that even though I was complaining about this city and that I didn't have that many friends there, and I didn't feel like I was a part of the community and all of that, I was still working to pay the bills, and just because it's my passion. But then I realized, wow, God gave me this period of isolation that gave me laser beam focus onto my business, and able to create, my very first video that went viral was a posing idea video. So I teach models how to pose, right? But my social media, but my social media content is a few different variations of me showing people how simple it is to do really complex poses. So I'll just show you step by step with a nasty beat, okay? Music, it's curated, how to like land these poses. And the first one that I ever created came from an idea. That's another thing. I'm not stealing ideas from other people. You gotta look for that inspiration where it's your idea. No one else, that's the true thing. But the very first one I created, went to 2.8 million.
Nice.
The very first one. The very first one. Invested in a videographer and all of that. I'm like, dang, the first one went viral? That's cool. And so we can only receive those ideas and stuff. Sometimes that comes when we have isolation and just pushing through and not giving up. So just wanted to share that.
And sometimes our creative minds are like, I think of it as a canvas, right? And sometimes when you're taking in and consuming so much content, it's like other people painting on your canvas a little bit. And sometimes you need the time, like you said, to just blank it out and then just give yourself a chance to put something organic that's, like you said, original back on that canvas. Yeah, because sometimes you can regurgitate someone else's content or ideas because you're consuming so much of it, and then you're getting caught up in this, is it good enough? Am I, you start feeling this sense of panic. Am I doing good enough? Am I competing in my industry? Am I posting what's popular or trending and blah, 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 blah. It's like, sometimes it doesn't even matter what's trending. It's what matters is what is on your heart, what the universe is telling you to put out there.
Can I add this? Because has this happened to you guys? Have you ever had an idea and you're like, man, that's a good idea,
I know exactly
and then
what you're
somebody else making money off of it, thriving in it. So one time I heard this story about Michael Jackson, okay, that he was in a studio with these producers, and some idea came to him, and they were going back and forth about if they were going to put it in the song they were working on or not. And he said, no, I have to do it, because if I don't, Prince is going to get it.
Yeah.
Meaning, that idea, that download came through.
Oh my God.
And because he understood like how that works. Yes. Ideas are blessings, and you have to be in alignment to receive them. And those ideas are trying to manifest. So if you don't manifest that idea and carry it out, put some action, somebody else will. So the gamers, we're in a new territory. Create something new. There's so much room for the unknown. There's so much room to be the first person to do whatever.
Yeah.
So, right?
No, that's very true because it's one of the worst things you can do for yourself is have all these creative ideas, and they just never came to fruition. It's someone once said this to me because I have so many in my life. The minute it comes to you, that means the universe trusts you to do it.
Yeah.
So you better freaking do it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't,
Immediately, or affirmations, and you could also have the option to record it in your voice because it's more effective to hear affirmations in your own voice. And have that wake you up. You don't even get to touch your phone. It's pretty, it's modern. A little meditation clock, that's it. Just saw 2 different advertisements for meditation clocks on Instagram within the last week.
Oh, they exist. I
This was
ordered
10
one.
years ago. I had this idea.
is it packaging? Like, can you still do it?
No,
You sure?
I'm on to other
Like,
things.
do it in your own voice or something. Because I love this. I'm now ready. Like, I'm now gonna go do a voiceover. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'll wake up and be like, you're a millionaire.
Yeah.
You wake up.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm like, wait, this is a great idea. Then I don't have to think like, so I'm waking up at 6 a.m. I'm like, okay, my manifestation. Do it. But it does make a difference. You do have to start your day right. Like before, because when you first wake up, that is when you're like the most in tune with the universe. Do everything you can to start your day right, do everything positive. But I don't know, I think we should explore this idea. I love this idea right
You like
now.
it, right?
Oh, I love
Mine would be better than theirs, hands down.
Yeah.
It would be cuter, because I've actually ordered one and I didn't like I took it back.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
Because of its parents.
Yeah, there was like several things about it. I was like, I don't know. I think I knew one that was like designed by Keenyah.
I mean, why not?
Okay, we'll cut this out of the stream. We're gonna say that's just for me.
Cut that out. Cut that out.
Nobody took this idea.
My mom died.
Okay, so this is, we kind of went on a tangent, but it was a beautiful tangent. So I have 2 more questions. The first is, as the multifaceted women that we all are, it can be almost paralyzing, right, to niche down and kind of create like a niche for yourself online. And so what are some tips and strategies for aligning all your hobbies and talents and interests while, you know, creating content and potentially making an income off of that?
Repeat the last part for me.
So how are you able to kind of integrate who you are and all the hobbies, talents, passions that you have and show up, I guess, authentically online as you're trying to create content and create an income from it, when some of the advice out there is like niche down, like create a niche, you know, put yourself in a box and show up in this way online?
Well, I think, and I've always had this mind ever since I was like a little girl. I've always, because I love convenience, right? I like when things are convenient. The idea of a coffee table, okay, I can put my drink down right here, or an outlet. When an outlet at a hotel is right here by the bed, oh my gosh, it's so convenient. So offering something that is solving some kind of problem. And if something is bugging you and irking you and there's no solution for it, that is a niche pretty much. That is offering value, making it entertaining because you're wise about this thing, this topic, or area. And your niche means there's a direct number of people who also are very annoyed by that thing. And even if you're making it funny or if you're offering the solution, you're offering some kind of value and people are relating to you as a human in that way. So I'm definitely on the side of finding your lane and making a niche. Niche is fine. Just make sure you're loud enough to find the people who hit that niche. Your demographic, your true demographic. You know?
Yeah, you have such a, are you sure you're not a startup entrepreneur? Because like you have such an entrepreneurship mind and like that, like I've gone through like several incubators and like tech accelerators, and that's exactly like what you tell a founder who's like starting a new app or whatever the case is like find a problem, solve the problem, make sure that enough people have that problem, and then solve it. right? And that's how you become successful. And like that's exactly like it translates so well to content creation. And it's so interesting because like when Jay asked me to do this panel, I'm usually moderating or speaking on tech panels. I was like, content creation, like I don't know, you know, but I feel like I've learned so much here, and I feel like it just like aligns. Like this is one of my favorite panels I've done. So yeah, I love you guys. Thank you. But yeah, what do you guys think?
For me, I feel like I'm the complete opposite. I feel like, in my opinion, my niche is me. So I see my personality, what I have to offer as my niche. And I think that, I think it's out again. I feel like when you are yourself authentically in everything you show up in, that is your niche, right? Because the way you present, the way you show up in your content is exclusive to you. So as someone who's multifaceted, I'm very multi-talented. I love a bunch of things. I'm very ADHD. I like to paint. I like to sing. I like to dance. I like to bake. I like to cook. Like everything. So I think by bringing my flavor to everything I'm doing, that in itself is my own niche, and that's how I see it. I know other people, you know, are more one lane, but I like to swerve and do everything and have fun with it, and just I feel like that's my calling, to show that you can do so many things and be good at so many things and be authentically yourself in those things. And why not? Life is short. Do all the things you want to do. You know, you can have a million lives, like Tiger.
Yeah. Would you also say like having a niche maybe is like antiquated versus kind of what we've been saying about like being authentic and being raw? Like, can you have a niche and also be authentic and raw? Or maybe can you have a niche and also be raw?
Yeah, I definitely think that having a niche, depending on what it is, I don't think that it's antiquated. Okay. I think like what you do is so specific, but it's broad at the same time because there's so many types of models, right? And you're opening the doors for so many types of people. So that in itself is kind of spreading the lanes, really. You're not doing what you're doing for one type of model, right? Like you're spreading a message. And I think that in itself is not so niche down, right?
What do you think? Yeah.
That's interesting. And I think I could be thinking about it in a different way because I loved your answer, and it's so true. And I'm just now stepping into that, realizing that because I used to be I'm very protective of my brand and my business because there aren't very many like model mentors or pose coaches.
Yeah.
You've heard of runway coaches for years. Yeah. But like showing you the entire industry and being your mother and getting you signed, like, you know, they see that every day. Yeah. And so I was very concerned about competition from the very beginning, like, well, who else is doing this? You know what I mean? But now it's getting to the point where I'm embracing that, like, there is no one who can do the way that I make my clients feel, and they are so much more confident. Their whole light and energy is different when they leave my course. From being authentic with them, being real with them, that's the game changer, you know. But it's when I was answering that question initially, I just wanted people to know that niches can be good in terms of finding your own lane.
Yeah, for sure.
Finding your own lane. That's because when you find your own lane, honey, you go fast, slow. There's no one in your way.
Yeah.
And that's another interesting thing. I'm curious if this happens with you when you really start stepping into your power, you realize that I can believe in myself as much. There's no limit on how much I can believe in myself and having that vision. How far can this really go, really, if I keep doing this or that? And so I just want to reiterate to people, like, it's okay if to merge both of those answers. It's okay if you are doing something that everybody's doing.
Yeah.
Just make sure you're authentic and showing up as yourself, and you're pulling your own inspiration and ideas, and you won't have any competition. You're going to do well. Your people are going to find you, whether it's on Instagram, Twitch. People be bouncing around until they find their platform, you know. So just keep going with that.
Because it doesn't matter how many people are doing what you're doing, they're not you.
Yeah.
And the way people feel when they leave their interaction with you is what they're going to remember.
Right.
And that's what's going to make you special. That's what's going to make you stand out, right? Because there's other plus size influencers, other plus size models,
Exactly.
but they're not me. And the way I make my people feel is different. And that's what makes you stand out. The way they feel when they leave a conversation or an interaction with you, the light that you bring to something is specific. So when I do my makeup or I do an outfit or whatever the case is, it has my brand on it. It has my light, my shine. And you have your own.
You know, like you gotta remember that you are your own brand, and that's something to be celebrated because you can't compare yourself. You can't constantly compare yourself to other people. It's okay to be inspired by other people. That's totally fine. But I mean, this started with unfortunately the side effects of Facebook. When Facebook first came out, people started comparing their lives with other people, what they were doing, and they started to get depressed. And it's like it's ridiculous. And we've all done it. We all have done that and been there. And that's not how you're supposed to live your life. Don't compare yourself to other people. You yourself already have something to offer this world. And it's okay to stay in your own lane. That's the whole point. Do it your way. Well, however other people are doing it, doesn't matter. That's taken care of by the universe. That's not your problem to think about. You shouldn't even waste any energy on that. So remember that you are your own brand. You have something to offer. Be proud of that and be open to that. And if you want to just niche down, that's totally okay, as long as you're staying true to who you are and you're happy with it.
Woo! Yes. Thank you. Okay, I said I had one more question, but actually I still have two more questions, so sorry. I just don't want this panel to end.
Just kidding. It's like me saying one last take on film sets, and the director's like, you said that 30 takes ago. It's in the tours of film directors. We do this a lot.
We're used to it. I'm a film director. No, I want to ask this question because I feel like all three of you are very like down to earth, right? Like you would never know like Gabrielle has 500,000 followers on Instagram. Like you would never know that. You would never know like Keenyah was like sitting next to Tyra. Like
I mean, I would know because I was a fan.
We all watched the show. We watched it.
You were one of my favorites. I remember the elephant photo shoot, and I can tell you your whole history on that show. She worked it.
But the point is, right, like how, like it's easy to let this industry, like, and the attention and the likes and the praise and the this and the that, like it's easy to like let that get to your head. And so how are you all kind of remaining inspiring and aspirational, but like also just like maintaining your down to earthness and like kind of like keeping centered? What's your advice for that? How are you doing that yourself?
For me, I just feel like it's natural for me. It's inherent. I don't know how else to be. Like I said, I'm from the South Bronx, so I'm always gonna be Gabby from the block. Like there's just no way around it. I was just taught to be humble and to be grateful. Nobody's better than anybody. Just like the core values of a Latino household. But also, there's just so many people doing this, so it's like, in reality, it's kind of silly to put yourself above anybody. At any point, you could lose your followers, an app could go down. That's just the reality of the situation. And I just feel like being grateful, to me, is like the antithesis of depression, the antithesis of going down a negative spiral. So staying positive and remembering how blessed you are, like Tiger said, those moments where you feel like crap, you go check your videos and you're like, but that one did really well, and remembering to be grateful for all the accolades, because tomorrow the next big thing could be around the corner. And if you're not open to that from the universe, if you're not grateful in the little things, the universe is not going to grant you the bigger things. You have to show that you're grateful for every moment. And so followers and all that is nice, but if you're not grateful and you're not living in positive mindset, an open mindset, and a giving mindset in return. Like I always tell my followers, y'all do more for me than I do for you. The love they give me, the encouragement, that means more to me, because there's days where I'm not feeling good about myself at all, and they lift me up. And so that just helps me stay humble and down to earth, And I just couldn't be any other way, because I don't have time for all that head up in the clouds stuff. That's not for me.
I didn't even see that on you.
Right. No, I just can't be like that. To me, it doesn't make sense. We're all human. We all got bad breath in the morning. Like, I don't know. It's just like, I can't be like that with people, and I feel I'm a servant to the universe. I was given the blessings of my talents to be in service of others. That's why God gave me my talents and my voice and my gifts and the hard things that I've been through, the abuse and neglect and bullying or whatever. When you go through those things, it's to make you the diamond that you were meant to be, to shine that light on others who are in the dark place in the moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what you're given those talents for. Not to put yourself above others, but to be of service to others. The church came on that one. Can you tell I grew up in the church?
Can we have a moment together right now?
Yeah.
I didn't even know I was going to do this. I have something to
Does that
say.
make me cry?
No, not really. I just want to say to you.
No, you're gonna make me cry. Stop.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to do this, but I just have to. Seriously, because sometimes that gratitude thing is so, so real. I am so grateful for where I am in my life now. That now all I can do is be generous and be of service to exactly what you just said. And it feels so good to give. It feels so amazing to
Better to give than to receive.
whether you're giving knowledge or just offering people your love and your energy, your time, your ear, if they just need somebody to listen to them. And it's, if no one has told you that like you are doing such a good job, like I'm telling you that.
Thank you.
And if I see it, you know the universe has been seeing it.
That means a lot. That means a lot.
Keep going.
Because
You're
it's
not
really
the
hard
only one.
sometimes.
You're not the only one out here doing that, because it can feel like, am I the only good person out here?
Right.
Because there's so much, in this life. There's
Yeah.
people or bad experiences that may happen.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you're like, man,
I'm wasting my time being good.
Yeah. But we have to keep up the good
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah.
And be good, and you'll continue to be blessed. You'll never not be blessed by being of service to people.
Amen.
Figure out how can I help somebody, and let it be something that I like and I have fun. And if you can figure out what that thing is, you will be so successful and so paid, because your work won't feel like work. It'll be fun. My friends here know I will work for 24 hours if I could, because I love what I do, and that's providing that service. So thank you. Thank you.
That meant a lot. That meant a lot. This means a lot. My teenage self is shook right now. Like, it's Keenyah. She was one of my babes. Like, I'm not joking when I tell you, like, genuinely. I was like, oh my god, it's her. Oh my god, yeah.
It's full circle.
No, it really is, because last night I was at the Ghostbusters premiere. And I got to walk the carpet, and I'm like, I'm walking the carpet at the Ghostbusters premiere, and freaking Lou Diamond Phillips is shaking my hand, and Kenan Thompson. I'm like, oh my god, my childhood. And now I'm sitting here with Keenyah. I'm like, you know what that is? To go back in time in your mind, and your childhood self is like in the room with people that you watched on TV, that you looked up to.
We're peers now. How about that? Look at where we are. Motivating women and doing the same thing.
Thank you. Thank you. I really needed that. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, hello.
That means a lot. That means a lot. I told you I'm that person. I'm like I'm always hiding myself, because when you're boisterous and you're opinionated and you have a lot of talents, people will tell you to shut the hell up. It's like people will tell you you're annoying, you're too much. That's what I got told all the time. Oh, you're so much, you're crazy, you're so loud, you're so this. I was always told to shut up, because I was so fun and exciting, and I just wanted to, like, oh my god, let's play, let's hang out, what are you doing? And I'm singing and I'm dancing and I'm, and like you said, like, people get jealous of that. Oh, there she goes singing again. We know you're the same girl. People are like that. And then you say, okay, well, I want you to like me, so let me be quiet, Yeah. And now I'm like, no, I don't care. You don't have to like it, but I'm going to sing, because that's the talent I was given. Talk to God about it. I don't know what to tell you, girl. And that's part of it, is just like giving back and just letting that light out, because it was given to you for a reason.
Yeah, let it
for
shine.
For anything, whatever that talent is, as small as any little thing you do that is in service of others, that you feel in your heart was meant for you, that's a blessing. It doesn't have to be as big as being a content creator that has millions of followers. It can be the littlest thing, being you know, anything, right? Like I see nurses and I feel the same way about them. Teachers, doctors, I mean, like that's a talent, that's a blessing that was given to you. Because I don't have the patience to go to school for that. I don't have the brain for that. To sit and learn how to cut somebody open and not feel that, that's godly right there. That's God working through you. You know what I mean? Like, who's giving you the right to do that, God? Because I couldn't do it.
If you went to school, if we decided to go to school and do that, we could do that.
Yeah. I got my bachelor's and I said, I'm tired. I'm ready to go.
One of the most grounding and humbling things that I think we also need to remember is remember who your biggest supporters are, real supporters. This can be tough if you didn't have people around you supporting your dreams, supporting what you're doing. And I agree, like, the number of times people will tell someone to shut up and not be themselves is ridiculous. And I've been told that throughout my life. I didn't have any support from my family. And at the end, it was especially disheartening because when you give your life up for the family and then they dump you to the side and you realize you were used, it's incredibly hurtful when you realize the people you love let you down. And I remember I was getting hung up on this, and literally God said to me, why do you care about a few people who say all this crap about you, don't believe in you, when you have over 126,000 people who believe in you? And I didn't think about that. And I spent so many years just thinking how they just really let me down. He's like, that's like 5 people, 7 people, 10 people, sure, maybe 20 people. But you have 126,000 people. And I forget that until one day, one of my videos I reposted actually went viral to 500,000, and when I looked at the comments, my followers all banded together without me saying anything. They banded together and they said, y'all know what you want to do, and they immediately started timestamping the comments and blew it up to hit the algorithm to make my video go viral. So there were like hundreds of comments up, 1 o'clock, 3:30, 3:24, and at first I was like, what are these timestamps? So they flooded the comments. Then they go, what's your favorite color? Red, blue, pink, purple. There's 200 comments on that one. What's your favorite TV show? I love this, I love that. And they all just like, literally, they said to each other, you all know what you need to do. And they all just banned it, and suddenly that video went viral, went to 500 million, and I gained like an extra 30,000 followers overnight. So it just shows, and I was crying because I didn't ask them to do it. And a lot of these, I have a young following. A lot of them also include 12-year-olds, 13-year-olds, 15-year-olds, and some of them are as young as 11. I didn't know my following was young because my show was very much an adult show, and I was like, wait a minute, they're a little bit, now it's gonna be like PG-13 probably now, because I didn't know what I expected, but they were young girls who looked up to me, and that's when I realized because they didn't have somebody like that. So it was very humbling, and I realized, oh my gosh, they got me here. They helped my family let me down. Some of my friends let me down. So my coworkers let me down. I had to leave a lot of toxic people. I had to spend Christmas by myself for a few years. Didn't have anybody to be with on Christmas. That's one of the suckiest experiences. We have no one to spend with on Christmas Day. But now I stuck it through and followed my dreams. And when I looked, I went, crap, 126,000 people? How many people is that? I had to Google it. That's a lot of football stadiums. It's a lot of football stadiums. The Super Bowl doesn't have 126,000 people. So I don't think it does. So it's like, you have to understand the perspective. And yeah, I don't see their faces, but they did what they could to help make my dreams come true.
And even when it's 500, even when it's 1,000, I mean, think about how many people that is.
Yeah, like Google, someone said, look at what 10,000 people is. I'm like, wait, that's a lot of people.
Just look how much energy we're putting into this conversation, right? And look, the crowd, right? You might get 5,000 times more likes on a post. And then, but you're looking at it and it's like, oh, it's 5,000 or it's 2,000, and you're like, oh, it's nothing compared to whatever.
Imagine 5,000 people
right
here.
Right.
Yeah.
Just to even look and give you that extra time when people don't even have the retention anymore.
Yeah.
So to give a like or a comment, that's in itself so much support. To say, I saw this, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I appreciate every comment because I'm like, I know how easy it is to just scroll. People don't really even like anymore. So if you comment, I'm like, oh my God, thank you.
Right.
You gotta be grateful.
Get that engagement up.
Comment back to every single person. Yes, that's very important to comment back to everybody. Yes,
Yes.
please do that.
Yeah. Well, this has been inspiring, to say the least. I want y'all to leave the audience with one piece of advice, right? What's the greatest advice that you can give the audience right now to help them achieve their dreams?
Ooh, that's heavy.
One?
One thing?
It could be like
Give me bullet points.
Yeah, can I have both? Can I have an ABC? Yeah.
Everything I wish I knew before I started is what we're thinking.
That's a good one. That's a good point. Yeah.
Do you want to go first? You want me to take?
Whoever. I'm still
Whoever.
thinking because
What's your
first.
review?
I'm thinking right now.
I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I have a
Okay,
lot.
I got it. I have a few. That's why
Yeah,
I'm
let's
skipping.
go.
So, first one, I would say, pay attention to your thoughts. Pay attention to your thoughts. It's an easy way to do this. You gain awareness of your thoughts by meditating.
Tell
That's
us
one of
like
the
your
first
meditation.
things.
Like
This is my morning.
easy,
Do you want to hear my
like-
morning real quick? Real quick. Easy,
Start your
easy.
meditation.
First of all, I go on YouTube.
Okay.
And I listen to tons of guided meditations. The biggest misconception, the reason why there's so much confusion about meditation is because different styles work for different people.
Right.
So if you hear about somebody who's been meditating like a monk, and they tell you how to do it, and then you go try it, and then it doesn't work, and you give up, you're not going to try it again. It's not going to be effective. But I want to spread the message so much that when we meditate, it's not for like 15 minutes of peace. It is for you to develop a muscle in your mind to detach from your thoughts, because you are not your thoughts. Let's play a little game. Do you know how many thoughts the average human has a day?
No, absolutely not.
Anybody? Throw out numbers?
For me, probably like 10,000.
127,000 probably.
So in between 60,000 to 70,000 thoughts.
Wow.
The average human thinks
So I
a
just need to
day.
meditate more is what I'm
So
saying.
yeah, so that's a lot of thoughts, right? So if you are not developing a practice to be aware of them in order to say, that one didn't feel good, throw it in the trash, then you're going to be all day, as your thoughts come in, you're on an emotional roller coaster, and life is maybe not as amazing for you. And so I listen to guided meditations that tell me exactly how to breathe and how to think for maybe 10 minutes a day. And that just helps me just practice, flex that muscle so I can be mindful. Girl, I was going to do all of these. It's on YouTube. And there's so many. You can listen to meditations about clarity. Provide me if you're feeling anxious.
Yeah.
Give something to give you some calming thoughts. Gratitude is so good. Oh my gosh. Gratitude it changes everything. It will lift you from any space, any emotional space you could possibly be in. Try to just think of something to feel good about. And just that effort to have to find that thought lifts your vibration. And then that's how you attract everything. So I meditate, listen to positive affirmations while I'm making my coffee, making the bed, setting the foundation for myself to have positive thoughts all day. And then be aware of the negative ones when they show up. Then I say, ooh, no, I'm complaining. I'm complaining about traffic. I'm complaining about being in line. Let me think about something else. So that's the thing. Meditation will help you attract everything that you want.
Yeah. And when you set up yourself with those thoughts, it helps you throughout the day to combat the negative ones.
Yeah. Because that's a lot. If it's half, so 60,000, 30,000 negative thoughts, 30,000 positive ones, that's a lot of negative ones.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's like mostly for most people it's like 50,000 negative.
Right.
10,000
Exactly.
positive.
And those things are in your subconscious mind, those negative thoughts, and they affect all of your decision making. So if you believe that you are socially awkward, and you've picked that up from some old belief from your childhood, and then now in your adulthood, when you go out socially, you've been telling yourself for years,
Give up on yourself. Do not turn your back on your passion, and the calling that's on your heart is there for a reason. That would be my main advice. And I'm speaking to myself too. Continue, pursue it. There's a reason and it's yours. You have to keep going. You have to believe that it's coming, and see that vision and believe in it. No matter what other people see, their vision doesn't matter. Yours matters. Keep the eye on that.
woo! Yeah.
So my biggest advice to all of you is to remember that nothing is impossible. This is so important in a world that would tell you you can't do it.
Right.
Anything is possible. But the number of times I hear people give me excuses of, I don't have enough money. I need to get this first. I need to make sure I have enough money to last for this. I need to make sure I have the support. I want to give you the reality of things. I didn't have a family to support me. I was even homeless and living in my car. I didn't know what I was going to eat the next day because people really let me down. People in Hollywood told me I could not get to a studio without a manager or an agent. At the end, I got a top 3 Hollywood studio on my own. I went straight to the vice president, pitched my show with no agent or manager, and now I have an actual letter from them confirming their interest. And I did it by myself because I believed in myself, I believed in my show, and I knew that nothing was impossible. So you have to remember this. There is no excuse you have to not follow your dreams. If I can do it, so can you, because this is by far the most loving thing you can do for yourself. And she's right, if you don't do it, your spirit will start to die. As long as you do what God made you to do, God will make sure you have everything you need to succeed. So believe in yourself and know that you can achieve even the greatest of dreams you never thought that was possible is now going to be possible for you.
And it's not just about money, right? It's not just about these big actions. It's the little steps.
Yep.
The 1% a day of how am I going to get closer to my goals and accomplishing my dreams. It's just sitting on the idea and writing about it, right? Or researching. Just showing the universe that you're putting the work in and those steps every day, little by little. Because like you said, people will be like, I don't have the money, I don't have this, I don't have that. But what are you doing to get there? I want to be a singer. Are you writing? Are you singing? Are you training your voice? Are you, researching music, learning things, right? Those little steps is what's going to take you there.